Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to a channel called Moon, and the video is the evil business of McDonald's. I found the channel yesterday just on my like personal YouTube account, and I watched like 2 videos, I think, and I really enjoyed it. It's sort of, I mean, I just show you sort of the type of content because I've never reacted to the channel before, and it's just sort of a new find for me. But like, it's all just like things that I just find quite cool. I don't know if this is for everyone, but just topics that are quite interesting. But yeah, I just thought it could be fun to react to it, and this is the video that I picked because I'm just interested in seeing this pretty much. Obviously, we know McDonald's has a lot of sort of shady sides, and it's obviously like the food there itself isn't very good, but no matter how bad it is, we'll still eat it and do all that kind of stuff. But I don't know if it's going to go into that or if it's just going to go into like the history of it or what. But we're going to check this out. Hopefully you're going to enjoy. If you want more reactions from this channel, let me know in the comments. If not,
McDonald's is like a cancer.
Oh god damn. I'll stop here. But yeah, we're just going to check this out. Links are in the description to Instagram, my Twitter for those who want to follow me. Same for my Patreon if you want to see extra reactions. But let's just see what's in this video.
McDonald's is like a cancer that grows in our own demise.
That's a very strong start. God damn.
Since the 50s, McDonald's has spread across every city of every...
Yeah, what I noticed from this guy's channel, he has like very strong opinions. So it might not be for everyone, but I did genuinely enjoy it because I'm not that, I don't care about much what, I don't know how to explain it. I just don't take things that deep, you know. I just hear what people say and I just sort of hear opinions, you know. But anyways, I don't even think this is opinions. This is like really good research, but I don't know. Let's just get into, sorry, I'm talking a lot.
Every country, making the McDonald's arches the most recognizable symbol in the world. More recognizable than even Jesus Christ, an ominous sign of the times we live in. But the truth is, this trend isn't stopping anytime soon. In fact, McDonald's is projected to grow another 10% in 2022 alone.
How is it even
Why is
possible for them to grow still? Surely they're at the point now where they've just reached the pinnacle, but obviously not.
McDonald's growing so fast when our economy is crumbling? I mean, economists are projecting that we're facing another wide-reaching recession. Businesses are seeing their profits plummet. Workers are seeing their wages stagnate. And yet somehow, McDonald's, a company with many cutthroat competitors, a company that's been shrinking, a company that only sells fast food, is now seeing their profits soar. And this isn't an anomaly either. During the 2008 recession, McDonald's actually saw higher sales, with the company opening up 600 new locations.
What?
So what's behind all of this? How is McDonald's growing so fast? And what makes the McDonald's arches the new
taking advantage of people?
Well, the more you try to answer these questions, the more sinister things truly become. So let's start simple to understand this whole picture. McDonald's doesn't just make a fortune from selling burgers alone. McDonald's makes its money from real estate. $53 billion. This is the value of all McDonald's real estate, making it one of the largest commercial real estate owners in the world. And this allows the company to expand into every town and city through franchising. It's why more than 85% of its restaurants are owned by someone who pays a fee to license the McDonald's name and brand. The deal being that McDonald's knows the precise ingredients and locations that make money, building up its property where most people go to work and school, usually setting up shops at intersections between 2 high traffic roads with traffic lights and parking. McDonald's then leases their location through a franchise agreement where all the details behind McDonald's cooking, the ingredients used, the menu, the opening hours, and pricing is firmly controlled. The tenant wanting to operate the restaurant pays an upfront investment and then a 4% fee on gross sales and a 10.7% of sales towards rent costs. So then why are people agreeing to such tight requirements? Because they know it's a safe investment. Because they understand something. They understand that they will be making bank from workers in their commute and hungry, easily influenced children.
I mean, yeah, people will go past the McDonald's, and even if you're not thinking about it, you'll see it, you'll be a little bit hungry, and you'll be like, you know what, it's just an easy, quick sort of meal. Takes 5 minutes and you can just enjoy it, you know. And then after, you hate yourself, but that's just how it sort of goes, isn't it?
But then, why does any of this actually matter? Well, the thing is, this business model is only good for so long, because as the times change and we learn about just how damaging fast food and sugar is, we move on. When people learn more, when people are happy and healthy, McDonald's crumbles. And when less tenants want to buy McDonald's property and less people want to buy McDonald's burgers, McDonald's shrivels up. In fact, this has been the case for the last decade. Over the last 10 years, McDonald's has seen its company begin to shrink. In 2015, McDonald's closed more restaurants in the US than it opened. This hasn't happened since the dark ages of the 70s, with McDonald's claiming it would close 700 locations. And then in 2020, the company was in its 5th year of declining sales, again closing more stores than it opened, all while competitor businesses like Subway were continuing to grow. But then suddenly a virus happened, the economy was shut down, people's incomes collapsed, depression ensued, anxiety rates doubled, and McDonald's profits began to soar. So why was this the case? Well, simply put, McDonald's is recession-proof. Because McDonald's makes money money when you are poor and miserable. As I mentioned earlier, McDonald's makes far more money through real estate than it does through burgers. A basic advantage of this is that not only does McDonald's make bang through fees and rent costs, but McDonald's also hardly pays any tax, because by being a real estate company, it means recessions drive real estate depreciation. This then becomes a tax deduction for McDonald's. McDonald's then also uses royalties from its franchising process to avoid paying $1 billion in tax than it otherwise should have done. But then during such a recession, McDonald's will swoop in and buy up depreciated property. But the best part of all is that recessions make for miserable, desperate customers. With standard of living sinking, inflation skyrocketing, wages stagnating, prices rising, atomization, depression, misery burgeoning, this then prompts a desperate influx of customers to McDonald's as a last resort. A last resort for the silent forgotten majority who realize their economic future has been sold down the river, having to move into pods that are plagued with water streak stains and infested with moss. All to compete with the rest of the drones as a service industry minimum wage slave, squabbling to work for McDonald's, squabbling to eat at McDonald's in dystopian metropolises just to fill 5 minutes of cheap happiness. Okay,
It's
so
true,
McDonald's is recession.
Bro,
But what's
that
so bad
feeling
about
of getting in McDonald's, like the feeling of, oh, I'm gonna get this, and you're like, just something inside your stomach is just like, oh my god, this is gonna be the best thing ever. It arrives, you're sort of still excited, but then you're realizing, am I actually gonna do this? And then you eat it, and then the taste is like, oh yeah, this is good. It's not the best feeling, like taste in the world, but you know what, it does the job. And then after, you're like, why the flipping hell have I done this? And then yeah, you just regret it, and then a week later you'll do the exact same thing. It's just how it is. Oh mate, the human body is such a simple thing, man. At the end of the day, like, these simple pleasures will like just keep coming back, no matter how much you regret it after. Yeah, we're done for. for
Well, let's take a quick look over the last 50 years. In January 1971, McDonald's would introduce McDonaldland, a world of imagination, wonder, obesity, and disease.
Is this a thing? This is just creepy.
The advert was a hit, manipulating the hearts and minds of children to munch on McDonald's. And soon enough, Ronald McDonald became a household name. He was relentlessly stuffed down children's
so
throats
scary
through
as well,
cartoons,
man.
video games, TV, and films. And all of this marketing to children worked wonders for McDonald's. So they would start to take this marketing to a new level with the creation of the Happy Meal, a genius meal box with cheap toys to lure children
Bro, this
into
used to
getting
slap
addicted
when I was
to
a
the
kid, man,
McDonald's
I'm not
menu
gonna
for
lie.
life. Children would squabble cheek by cheek to get the best toy. Marketing to children attracted to mass-produced muck who were too young to eat with their mouths and instead eat with their eyes. And this marketing in particular worked extremely well, doubling and
Eat
even
with their
tripling
eyes.
McDonald's average
That's a
weekly
good line.
sales. But most importantly, this addicted a generation of children to McDonald's, clogging the arteries and colons of millions with their addictive recipes. Recipes loaded with sugar and saturated fats. Recipes that led to disease, despair, and depression. In the words of Theodore Dalrymple, I deplore McDonald's disgusting products and despise the childish and garish decor of their canteens. They detract from the quality of our civilization. Adding that, if someone were to tell me that children love these restaurants, I should reply, but that is precisely why it should be a criminal offense. And look, most of us already know this by now. We all know that McDonald's is bad for you. But what you might not know is that the growth of McDonald's has a very strong correlation to the growth in obesity. According to the World Health
course, that
Organization's
makes sense.
data, there is a strong worldwide correlation between obesity and the number of McDonald's restaurants. Now, why is this the case? Well, the most basic answer would be that McDonald's is unhealthy. Since the late 90s, people woke up to the realization that a fast food heavy diet would ruin your life. And in recent years, Ronald McDonald is associated as a creepy, eerie symbol of America's nihilistic, materialistic consumption. And that's why, in response to this, McDonald's began to reshape their image, refurbishing their restaurants and promoting McDonald's salads to appear somewhat healthy. But the public mostly saw through this, and in the last decade, McDonald's went on to close hundreds of locations, a big setback for the McDonald's real estate empire. Until now, where as we sink into recession, McDonald's begins to shine. But is the whole picture really this clear cut? Is it just that when people are poor and recession is near, McDonald's grows? Or is there perhaps another layer to this equation? Because McDonald's isn't only eaten by poor people, and poor people don't have to eat McDonald's. Almost all of us know that McDonald's is toxic, and yet we've started to consume more and more of it. So what's actually behind all of this? Well, in the last few years, we've been bathed in a culture of hedonism. The mainstream media promotes morbid obesity. We see women's magazines like Cosmopolitan promoting obesity as a healthy lifestyle choice. Ads promoting beach bodies are removed. Weighing scales are removed from universities, and we are soaked by a sewer pipe of obscene, tawdry hedonism.
Weighing skip. Wait, what? University removes scale in gym. Scales are very triggering. What? Isn't that the whole point of being? Like, obviously, not everyone goes to the gym to lose weight, but you want to sort of track your progress in whatever you're doing. And this is one of the main factors in why people go to the gym, to track their progress of if they're losing weight or if they're gaining weight. What am I seeing, man? Oh my god. Oh, flipping heck. I don't care how people live, but there's just sort of some common sense. Like, it's a gym. It's a gym. Oh, my head is fried, man. What is going on?
Removed from universities, and we are soaked by a sewer pipe of obscene tawdry hedonism that makes our society value short-term
I'll be
gratification.
honest, I don't know what hedonism even means, but it sounds like a very powerful word, so we'll just keep it rolling.
Over the long term. Never in history has our instant gratification impulses received so much authoritative support. In addition, the breakdown of family and community has resulted in large portions of children eating with a family member less than once a week. Instead of coming together to eat with the family, children and adults are now constant grazers. The new dining room is the bedroom. And when you have a generation of people who are raised by celebrities living vicariously through other people's stories, manipulation becomes easy. Which is why since 2020, McDonald's has been aligning itself with celebrities, partnering up with people like BTS and Travis Scott, plastering celebrity faces onto its junk. This hasn't happened in over 30 years, but now McDonald's is radically changing its marketing, which has allowed McDonald's to surpass its pre-pandemic sales, and then compounded by deep economic recession, stagnating wages, and rapid inflation. And it all starts to make sense why McDonald's is recession-proof. Because McDonald's isn't just recession-proof because of its real estate business model. McDonald's isn't just making bank from franchising its estate. McDonald's true money comes when a population is wading in a swamp of anguish and despair, imposed by a culture that has ruined their economic prosperity, ruined their long-term gratification, destroyed their communities, and broken their families. A culture that never seeks to uplift, to enrich your life with meaning and purpose. A culture that instead seeks to fatten you up and drag you down, where you're buried under an avalanche of poisoned junk that provides you only with a quick dopamine hit and long-lasting addiction, where your role models are used to manipulate your primal senses into feasting on junk food, where your economy and culture has been desecrated under a crony capitalist system that eviscerates your health and well-being. That's when you see McDonald's grow. So over the next year, as we're plunged into a deep recession, look out for McDonald's. Look out to see the rushing crowds squabbling for McDonald's, because only then will McDonald's recession-proof business model begin to make sense. Only then can you understand why the McDonald's arches are more recognizable than Jesus Christ.
God damn.
Now here's a word from the video sponsor, Masterworks.
Oh, you got a sponsor? You know what? Get your money, man. You definitely deserve it. This is a pretty insane video, well put together and all that kind of stuff.
Double the appreciation of...
And I mean, yeah, this was an interesting watch. McDonald's, man. McDonald's. The main issue I have with Macca's is how much it appeals to kids. That the one, yeah, but that's true. Because when I was a kid, that's all I ever wanted. And like, when you're a kid and going to McDonald's is like one of those things that's like, you're excited for. It's like a day out, you know. You're having the best food ever. It's pretty crazy because it's so bad for kids as well. The ones who most need to eat healthy cram themselves with glorified junk, and that has major effect on our culture's well-being. Going to McDonald's for a salad is like going to a hooker for a hug. What the fuck? I abandoned McDonald's nearly 30 years ago after working there. I've never looked back, zero regrets. Yeah, when I worked there for the short amount of time, I hated it, man. Working at Mackey's was the worst thing. The most stressful job I've ever, like, the most stressful thing I can ever think of. Oh man, it was not for me, that's for sure. I had to quit after like I think it was 3 months. I just couldn't do it. But yeah, I mean, this is the evil business of McDonald's. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you want more reactions from the channel or just similar videos, let me know in the comments. And yeah, until next time, like, subscribe.